comes to the company that got the contract to renovate this bridge. The Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party continue to ask the questions as they must, as an opposition must, to the ruling party. The Prime Minister is taking stock of the situation, and the hopes are that, all right, Ashutosh is joining us for the latest on this. Ashutosh, we can see the Prime Minister right there. He has already started taking stock of the situation. What's going on?
Well, I see the Home Minister of State, Harsha Sanghvi, is briefing the Prime Minister about the bridge. And very interestingly, the Chief Minister of Gujarat is standing behind and he's not talking. It is, and then also I see BJP President of Gujarat, C.R. Patil also. It is only the young Home Minister of Gujarat of State, Harsha Sanghvi, is briefing the Prime Minister. And that looks like he's talking about the length of this bridge and also the structure. And looks like because where he's indicating that's where the construction of Swaminarayan temple is being done. And if I could read his body language, then he's talking about this is how the situation unfolded, how the wires were snapped. And just like visit over, Prime Minister is leaving the spot. And he apprised him about this position, about this bridge and about its construction material. Now he's just going to just another side because he's also briefing about the structure, this iconic historic palace. I would ask my cameraman Sanjay Kumar to go to other side where the Home Minister is briefing to the Prime Minister, and we bring you the live images. That's where the gate, and that's exactly where I entered to that point to see about where the cables were snapped. In fact, these are the hangings. Platform is actually one way to reach for the access to this suspension bridge, and this is accessible for the people once you. And there you see the Home Minister, and once you arrive at Oreva's gate, entrance gate, you buy a ticket and then you enter to this spot. So it's around 50 meters, 75 meters of walking to hanging platform, which is supported by this historic palace wall. And by crossing that, and again, at a time, more than 2 persons cannot walk. Hence the questions being asked why the crowd was not managed, why so much footfall was allowed to reach here. And that looks like one of the expert, perhaps could be a civil engineer or someone from the government authorities. They are briefing about this structure. The way he's narrating about the structure looks like the Prime Minister himself is asking various questions to the officer. There's also presence of the Chief Minister, the BJP State President, the Home Minister, and there is a conversation that is happening between the official and the Prime Minister about what would have possibly gone wrong. And as we know, the structure is morely about that it could not take weight of the number of persons were on the bridge on that late evening at 6:30 p.m. This tragedy unfolded after the wires were snapped from their pocket. And now the Prime Minister seems entering back to the palace, and the gate where he's entering the palace, right entering after the gate, some 15 meters, we have a connection to that mega cables, the heavy iron cables. That's where it is connected from it with the grip and the hook that where it is placed, and that's also quietly rusted. And I'm sure when Prime Minister goes inside, he will have a clear look of the major connection, because you cannot really ignore it. If you walk straight from that way, it is very much accessible and visible. I myself went there, got some pictures done, and I saw those rusted metallic cable and its connection. So that would also give him really a stock of this situation. While right behind me, the search operation is on by the official. The Prime Minister took a stock of not only search operation, mainly that I noticed the conversation between the Home Minister and the official that I noticed here. Mainly it looks like about this entire bridge, and moreover the bridge, how this could possibly have happened. And hence we can expect that after Prime Minister's visit, the more responsible heads, the big fish, will also be named and nailed in the investigation. Now, after this visit, Prime Minister will be heading straight to the civil hospital of Morbi, where we have the injured people in the hospital being treated, though mostly people.
So Ashutosh, after this, the Prime Minister is headed to the hospital, and what's his itinerary looking like?
Well, it would take maximum 5 to 6 minutes to reach him to the hospital once he leaves from here. He has left this venue, but from here to his vehicular access, it could be distance may take another 2.5 minutes. And then there is a connection because the place Prime Minister entered through, the cable, the one still cable that I see is still here, has its root here connected with that anchor cliff. That's called the anchor cliff, which is still there. He may see that because that really looks rusted, and I can see possibly that how the maintenance was not recently being carried out, or even the checks were not done. And after visiting that through his cavalcade, he may reach hospital. The total vehicle time through his cavalcade may possibly take not more than 5 minutes. He'll be meeting those injured, and several others who are admitted in the hospital are amongst those who are not only injured, but they are also the rescuers. They are not only survivors, but they help people. They saved many lives. Prime Minister may meet those those injured, the victims in the hospitals of this tragedy, and then he will be visiting the Superintendent of Police's office, where there's a high-level meeting is expected. We have our colleagues at the hospital and also at the Superintendent of Police office where this meeting will be conducted. But for now, Prime Minister has concluded his visit in Morbi, this epicenter of this man-made disaster. We call it man-made disaster because it happened of the negligence of the duty of certain people responsible, but yet not been made accountable for it. Chaiti.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, questions are continuously being raised over how a wall clock manufacturing company was even awarded this particular contract to manage, maintain the ill-fated bridge in Morbi, and where are the founders of the Oriva group, and who is responsible right there? Hopefully, Ashutosh, the hope is that the Prime Minister also ensures that the local administration is made answerable to these questions.
Well, everyone hopes that, and that's the justice that we call a justice, that everyone who's responsible should be made accountable. At least name them in the investigation, with the questioning, with the evidence, with the letter trails, with everything that unfolded. We will get to know that who's really responsible. But primarily, it looks like a company who did not do his job well. Secondly, the civil and police administration who failed to comply with their duties, and that led to this negligence, and the negligence led to this massive disaster. And hence this investigation. That's exactly why the government was very much under pressure. You have election day is going to be announced in few days. You're going to be in the poll-bound state literally, and then opposition gets really an ammunition to target on you, that this tragedy unfolding and still you're literally sleeping, not taking proper action. And that seemed to be one of the pressure factor why the SIT of the top officials, including one IS officer, one IPS officer, top engineers, civil engineers, being made part of it. And within few hours of that, you also make arrest. But the question why it is raised, that who have you arrested? These are the small fish, the security guard, the ticket sellers. When the big fish will be named in the FIR, you haven't even named the people in the FIR. That's why the questions being asked. One can really hope the Prime Minister himself taking stock of that. He would have perhaps realized the negligence how the officials have made, and in that case, one could really expect that really head's gonna be rolled. The SIT, the investigative team, will carry out its duty, and there will be justice to the victims. Chaiti.
Oh yes, absolutely. And now after this, the Prime Minister will be heading to the hospital as well, where the survivors are still being treated at the moment. Ashutosh still continues to be right there with us, and Ashutosh is getting us those live visuals of the Prime Minister accompanied by Gujarat Home Minister Sanghvi at the hospital, at the accident spot, I beg your pardon. Sanghvi also briefed the Prime Minister at the accident site, and now the Prime Minister is headed to the hospital. In fact, 135 people have died with the bridge collapsing, and there are a few survivors who are being treated at a nearby hospital. The Prime Minister will be headed to the hospital. Ashutosh, how long before the Prime Minister interacts with the survivors?
जब वो कल
Ashutosh, can you hear me? Let's re-establish the connection right there to Ashutosh. Ashutosh will be joining us in moments from now with the latest details. Live visuals at the moment coming in. Prime Minister meets the rescue operation personnel in Morbi at the moment. The Prime Minister met those who were involved in rescue and relief operations when the mishap took place in Morbi. That is the breaking news that is coming in. He ended up meeting all these personnel, the rescue and relief operation people who actually risked their lives to save and try to recover whatever they could from the river and save the lives of a few that they could. They actually ended up risking their lives to do so, and the Prime Minister ended up meeting the rescue operation personnel in Morbi, and that is the breaking news we are getting at the moment. The Prime Minister meets the rescue operation personnel in Morbi. Latest coming in, he met those who were involved in the relief operations, the ones who were involved in the relief operations right there. Visuals coming in right there of the Prime Minister with the rescue and relief operation personnel too. The one visual on your screens is with the Gujarat Home Minister, where he's taking stock of the situation and understanding how that bridge really collapsed and understanding other details from the Home Minister of Gujarat, who's seen briefing the Prime Minister on this issue. And on the right side of your screens, you can see the Prime Minister meeting many other officials too. One of the visuals show you how he met the rescue and relief operation personnel in Morbi too. If we have Ashutosh with us, let's go straight across to Ashutosh. But the Prime Minister from here on is going to be headed to the hospital for an interaction with the survivors and with the hospital staff. We're waiting for that to happen about a few minutes from now. The Prime Minister currently is in Morbi, and he's got a packed schedule right there in Morbi where he will conduct this particular interaction next. He took stock of the situation of the bridge in Morbi. Then he met the rescue operation team, the ones who risked their own lives and carried out the relief and rescue operation on the back of this tragedy. And now the Prime Minister will also head to the hospital where the survivors have been admitted, the injured are being treated, and he will speak to the families of the victims too. Saurav Aktania joins us for the latest breaking news coming in. Prime Minister has reached the hospital right there. Saurav Aktania joins us live. Saurav, what are you picking up? The Prime Minister has reached the hospital and now he's going to be interacting with the injured, the ones who are the survivors of this tragedy. Saurav?
Hello.
Yes, Saurabh, can you hear me?
Hello.
Saurabh, can you hear me?
यहाँ से जब निकलेंगे तो सीधे जाएंगे एसपी ऑफिस, जहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है कि उनकी एक
Hello.
Saurabh,
मीटिंग होने वाली है यहाँ पे
Saurabh, can you hear me?
नेताओं से, और उसके बाद
Yes, I can hear
Go
you.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. The Prime Minister has arrived at the hospital right there.
और आपको दिखा सकें कि किस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री.
Well, let me tell you that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived at this Morbi Civil Hospital over here. You can see that whole convoy has just arrived at this particular Morbi Civil Hospital. Now, let me tell you, this Morbi Civil Hospital is in question for last several hours, because since yesterday night there was heavy renovation work which was going on inside this particular hospital. And let me tell you, there was a kind of facelift also which was happening inside this hospital, and lot of questions were being raised by the opposition as well. There was tiling work happening, there was painting happening, there was lot of many other renovation work was happening. And later on, let me also tell you that several of the beds and bed sheets were being brought to this particular hospital. So lot of opposition had made a ruckus, and there was lot of politics which was being played at this particular hospital. For the incident, let me tell you, there are over 5 to 6 victims who are actually admitted in this particular
particular hospital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming himself to this hospital. He's going to interact with the people, the victims who are present who are admitted in this particular hospital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to interact with them. Proper information will be given by the victim. What we have been told by the government officials that the eyewitnesses, basically the survivors of this whole incident, they will be speaking to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They will be saying that how actually this whole particular incident took place, how they managed to survive, and who they think responsible is. So first, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself reached to the spot. He interacted with the people who actually rescued so many people. He also interacted with interacted at the spot with the official that how this bridge actually came down. He himself watched the whole situation, and then he has reached this Morbi Civil Hospital. And what we have been told that from here he'll be going to the SP office. SP office, there will be meeting of the review committee. There will be the collector, will be the CEO of the municipal corporation, and also the SIT, the 5-member SIT which has been formed to investigate this whole case. They all will be there at the SP office. And what we are expecting that after Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself watching this whole situation, he himself involved in this whole review meeting, likely we are expecting that some strict action definitely will be taken in this particular case.
The action gets taken, but what are the arrangements that have been made at the hospital right before his arrival? I believe it's gone through its own share of renovation last night. Saurabh, can you hear me? Let's re-establish that connection to Saurabh right there, who is at the hospital where the Prime Minister has just arrived to speak to the victims at the moment. Though that's the live breaking news we're getting to you. Prime Minister did visit the accident site to review the rescue operation. He met with the personnel right there, and now he's at the hospital where the survivors are present, where the injured are being treated at the moment. The Prime Minister after that is going to even go to the SP office to take stock of the situation. He is accompanied as we speak by the Gujarat Home Minister, and also he's accompanied by the Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. We'll get you the latest as and when we get more updates in terms of the visuals from inside the hospital, because he's now going to be speaking to the injured, to the survivors, and also understanding their plight, going to have an interaction with them. He was at the accident site to review the rescue operation too. He did that. Now he's headed to the hospital, after which he will be at the SP's office as well. As many as 135 people, including children, have been killed in this human tragedy, unfathomable tragedy in Morbi. What we are picking up is 2 people are still missing, but the rescue operation as we speak is still going on. The Prime Minister even met the personnel who are conducting the rescue and relief operation. And getting you these live details on your screens right now. Prime Minister at the hospital. Earlier, a couple of minutes back, Prime Minister at the accident site, and a few minutes back, Prime Minister meeting the rescue team. The Prime Minister has been accompanied by Gujarat Home Minister Sanghvi and also by Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. It is mainly the Gujarat Home Minister Sanghvi who's briefing the Prime Minister on the various developments and how the tragedy really unfolded and what really happened there. The hope lies now in the Prime Minister putting the adequate amount of pressure to fix accountability, because the victims' kin are asking questions at the moment. Live visuals coming in of the Prime Minister's cavalcade on your screens right there. You see the black car there. The Prime Minister is at the hospital where the injured have been admitted. Saurabh Aktania getting us the latest. Saurabh, throwing straight across to you to get us the latest.
So, well, Chaiti, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the Morbi Civil Hospital, and behind me you can see the whole convoy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi present over here. And first he visited the accident site. He was there along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There was Gujarat's Home Minister Harsh Sanghvi, C.R. Patil, and Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. And he properly understood that how this whole incident actually took place, what were the materials which were been used, and how the rescue operation right now is taking place, and how the whole bridge actually collapsed. Because let me tell you, this is an historical bridge. This is bridge which is over 140-year-old. So how this bridge collapsed just 5 days back after its renovation was done. So that is all understanding was given to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now he has arrived at this particular Morbi Civil Hospital. I'd like to tell my camera person to show the visual of this particular hospital, which is in question for last 12 to 14 hours, because you know how the facelift of this particular hospital has taken place, and then there was ruckus right now yesterday night inside this hospital when the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress workers actually stormed in, saying that why just before the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit the renovation work has been done. We ourselves actually, Chaiti, went inside this hospital, and let me tell you that a lot of renovation work happened, and now the convoy is moving out. We'd like to show our viewers that the convoy is moving out here. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was to meet the survivors of this incident. He was actually going to speak to them that how this whole incident took place. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to directly interact. The ward which the survivors are actually admitted, let me tell you that also a proper facelift was done in those wards as well. Here you see that the convoy, the vehicle of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now leaving from the Morbi Civil Hospital. He was here for around 10 to 15 minutes, and now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is leaving from Morbi Civil Hospital. You can see the convoy now leaving the civil hospital, and once from this particular place, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going straight to the SP office Morbi. Now this meeting at the SP office Morbi will be very important, because what we have been given to understand that the
that the meeting at the SP office will be important, because the big question is, why does the FIR not have the Oriva owner's name? It baffles. It's baffling to know that the FIR does not have the owner's name.
Well, absolutely. Let me tell you that the inauguration of this whole bridge 5 days back was done by the owner of the Oreva. He was present with his entire family. Now, what we spoke to the Municipal Corporation of Morbi, what they said is that the family themselves inaugurated the bridge. They did not call us. But let me tell you, for the last 5 days, the bridge was open. There were people in huge number present over here. So it is not that the officials, the Morbi Municipal Corporation officials, were not knowing about it. They clearly knew that it was the Oreva company who built it. The bridge has collapsed. But we on India Today, when we broke the first FIR copy of this whole incident, clearly no names were mentioned. In fact, let me tell you, if there are no names in this particular FIR, even the company's name is not mentioned. This is what the big questions have been raised by everyone. In fact, we are trying to reach to the Oreva groups, and we went out to so many locations. They are present at so many places. They have their offices in Morbi, in Ahmedabad. Their head of quarters is in Ahmedabad. But let me tell you, nowhere Jaisukh Patel is to be found right now. We are continuously trying to reach to them. We have several of the mobile numbers of the Oreva group. But let me tell you, they are not reachable at all. We are continuously trying to speak to the police official. What they are saying is that our investigation is going on. But let me tell you, the investigation does not take so much time to name someone in FIR. This is the huge lapses on the part of
I can understand if it takes time to nab the ones named in the FIR for interrogation and summon them, but it does not take time to have an owner's name on the FIR, and that is the big question that everybody wants an answer to. Why does the FIR not have the Oriva owner's name? And now, with the Prime Minister visiting the SP office, there will be the right amount of hoping, and that's the hope, that the pressure will be created to ask the right questions to the local administration and the police over there also as to what they are up to.
So, well, this is very shocking, let me tell you, that they don't know that who actually built this particular whole bridge, who was actually carrying out the renovation work. Because when I spoke to the municipal corporation officials, what they are telling us that this particular group, the Oreva group, this is not the first time that they have got this particular project to renovate. This is the second time they have got this project to renovate. So the Oreva group is not new for Morbi, this particular bridge. So the officials know that this particular bridge has been built by Oreva, but why the name is not mentioned in the FIR is the big question. Even now, we are continuously trying to ask the police official that why nobody is named in the FIR, why nothing has been done till now, why only the small people, because basically the ticket checker, the security guards, the police have arrested them. When are the big guns, the big fish are going to be arrested? Now you can see that how the crowd has gathered outside this particular civil hospital in Morbi. We'll also try to speak to the victims of the survivors of this whole incident who are inside this hospital, and get to know that what conversation they had with Prime Minister, what actually information did they give to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he visited over here. And let's just show you the visuals of this building, of that how this hospital was in question since yesterday night, because as and when this particular visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi was announced, this entire hospital has got a huge facelift. You can see that how the painting of this particular hospital was started since yesterday night. It continued till wee hour in the morning. Then there was a lot of renovation work which was happening inside this particular hospital, and the tiling work happened, the plaster work happened, and lot of cleaning. And let me tell you, Chetty, when I was present inside, in fact I spoke to so many people, what they said is proper team of contractor was hired. A team of contractor was hired just for the renovation and cleaning work, and now we'll be going inside and we'll try to speak to the people, to the survivors, basically what they interacted. We have been told that the survivors are on the first floor. On the first.
The survivors are right there at the first floor, and you're trying to climb up the floors, and I'm just going to allow you to do that before you get patched back on this broadcast for the very latest breaking news on your screens. Prime Minister Modi meets Morbi tragedy victims. We're getting you those visuals as well, and Saurabh has actually gone right there on your screens right now. The Prime Minister with the victims of the Morbi tragedy. That's the Prime Minister taking stock of the situation and also interacting with the survivors, with the victims right there. You can see those visuals on your screens right now. The Prime Minister with the victims right there. He's met them personally, and that's the latest coming in at the moment. The Prime Minister at the moment in Morbi with the victims of the Morbi tragedy. In fact, Saurabh is also right there on the same floor where the victims are admitted, and visuals on your screens show you the Prime Minister at the hospital, at the local hospital where the victims are being treated, the injured are being treated at the moment. You can see the Prime Minister even interacting with these victims. But the question still remains in terms of why the civil hospital in Morbi was being refurbished and renovated ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. And that's the question that the opposition is asking too, in terms of this VVIP culture. That's the jibe that the Congress has taken of Rajaji right there. But outside of all the politics, you can see the Prime Minister's cavalcade on your screens right now, and the visuals of him meeting the accident and the tragedy victims on your screens right there. He's right there. We're getting Saurabh getting us a ground report. Listen.
की जाएगी रिव्यू मीटिंग में ये बातें सवाल सामने आएंगे कि अब तक की जांच में क्या सामने आया है। जो लोगों की आप बात कर रहे थे, जिन परिजनों ने आप कह सकते हैं लोगों को गवाया, उनका यही कहना है सबसे पहले कि आखिरकार इस पूरी घटना का सच क्या है, वो ये जानना चाहते हैं। पूरी घटना कैसे हुई ये वो जानना चाहते हैं। कि दिवाली के बाद का वीकेंड था, एक तरह से
We'll re-establish that connection to our reporter in moments from now. Saurabh Akhtania is at the hospital where the Prime Minister is present, interacting with the survivors, with the injured who are currently being treated at the hospital right now. The question that still needs an answer is that why is it the hospital went through a renovation overnight ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. All right, Saurabh is interacting with one of the victims. Listen in.
वेट के हिसाब से गिर गया था मुझे से दूसरा कुछ ज्यादा नहीं बोला है
पूरी चीजें बताई कि किस तरीके से पूरी घटना हुई, क्या कुछ हुआ?
हाँ वो सब बोला
ठीक है। और क्या कुछ बोला कि किस किस तरीके से आगे की उनको सपोर्ट मिलेगा, आपको क्या कुछ कहा?
ज्यादा नहीं बोला, बस इतना ही बोला, जितना बोला था इतना कह दिया।
आपने बताया कि किस तरीके से पूरी घटना हुई?
हाँ बोल दिया।
आपसे तो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कई सारे जो सर्वाइवर्स है ये मौजूद है और उनसे और भी लोगों से हम बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे यहाँ पर कि किस तरीके से ये पूरी घटना हुई थी। यहाँ पर देखिए कि एक और पेशेंट यहाँ पर मौजूद है और उनसे बात करने की हम कोशिश करेंगे कि जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी आए तो क्या कुछ हुआ। आप प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी आपसे मिले, बातचीत हुई, क्या कुछ कहना चाहेगी जिस तरीके से ये सब रेनोवेशन का काम बीच में हुआ? नहीं बात करें तो दे आर नॉट विलिंग टू स्पीक एट द मोमेंट. विल स्पीक टू सम मोर पीपल ओवर हियर who are present at the hospital, and here you can see that this is particular ward where Prime Minister Narendra Modi had arrived. He interacted with the people.
If you could get us a reaction in terms of what are their expectations from the Prime Minister at the moment. What did they tell the Prime Minister? What do they want right now? All right, Saurabh will also get us those reactions in terms of whether they have been able to be vocal with the Prime Minister and explain to the Prime Minister in terms of whether they are convinced or not with the ex gratia amount or the help given by the Gujarat government or not. This would be their chance to even speak to the Prime Minister directly, and hence we'll get Saurabh back on to speak to those victims and ask the victims if they were satisfied with this particular conversation or not. Big question. Will the Prime Minister ensure justice now? All eyes are on that. After this hospital visit, he's scheduled to meet the SP. And the big questions arising right there are about the FIR not containing the Oriva founders' names and why. Will Prime Minister Modi punish the negligent netas, the entire nexus that was involved in awarding this contract to the Oriva group for the second time, mind you? And all eyes are also now on Prime Minister Modi's message. He is likely to be making an address to, and we'll wait and watch when that happens. Moments from now, he first went to the accident spot, took stock of the situation. He met the rescue and relief operation team. Then he went to the hospital, and the visuals on your screen show you him interacting with the survivors of this tragic incident that took place in Morbi, and after which he's now going to be headed to the local superintendent's office too, after which we are expecting an address from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A battery of reporters are getting you the latest updates, and the latest visuals on your screens are of the Prime Minister from the Morbi hospital in Gujarat. We're getting you the live updates as and when they happen. So the next stop for the Prime Minister is going to be the SP's office, and we'll get you the details from there too. But for now, the hospital visuals on your screens, you can see several injured being treated over there, and the Prime Minister interacting with them as well.
Footfall was allowed to reach here, and that looks like one of the expert, perhaps
Showing you visuals that are coming in. On the left side of your screens, you can see the Prime Minister meeting the victims. And many victims, while at it, you can see the Prime Minister going from one bed to the other, talking to them, exchanging notes. The second visual is of the Prime Minister taking stock of the situation in the accident site. And the Home Minister of Gujarat, in fact, is seen in the visuals briefing the Prime Minister on this. Bhupendra Patel, who is the Chief Minister, has also accompanied the Gujarat Home Minister and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi right there at the accident site, where the Prime Minister ended up taking a complete stock of the situation. That was at the accident site, in fact, just moments back. And on the right side of your screens, the Prime Minister has met the rescue operation team who risked their own lives to save the lives of others too, and conducted the rescue and relief operation. So he met them too, and now he's going to be headed to the local SP office, getting you all the live visuals of the Prime Minister in Morbi. My colleague Shiv Arur is going to be taking this broadcast forward and keep you updated and ask all the right hard-hitting questions that this story demands. I'm throwing straight across to you, Shiv.
Jyoti, thanks for staying live on this big story. The Prime Minister in Morbi this evening. These are live pictures coming in from the site as the Prime Minister has just met with the victims of this horrible tragedy, the survivors who escaped with their lives following what is by all accounts a man-made tragedy, something that was completely avoidable. The Prime Minister also receiving a briefing from the Gujarat Home Minister right there at the site where the bridge snapped and collapsed into the Machu River, also meeting with the heroes of the rescue team, the first responders who rescued many of the people. He's also said to have met locals who participated in huge measure in the rescue of tens of persons from the river. The Prime Minister is still there in Morbi. He's likely to meet the Superintendent of Police, who spoke yesterday as well in a short while from now. There are many exploding questions that need to be answered. The Prime Minister's presence there, of course, a symbol of reassurance from a politician who is very much from Gujarat, a person who has been a three-time Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat, reassuring the victims, their families and the public at large that he is there and that he will make things right. But will things be made right is the big question. What has been done so far has inspired absolutely no confidence so far, and I'm sure the Prime Minister knows that, because 9 people have been arrested, viewer, and among them not a single big fish, not a single politician, not a single senior executive or management member from the company Oreva that had been contracted to keep this particular bridge going. In fact, the owners are nowhere to be found. They appear to not be in their offices or even in their residence in Ahmedabad. They're not there in their farmhouse. Nobody knows where they are. And they are answerable even though they're not named in the FIR. The Prime Minister will undoubtedly, of course our cameras will not be able to capture the conversations the Prime Minister has with the political leadership of Gujarat. But one thing can be certain, this has piled huge pressure on the government of Gujarat and the government at the center. Prime Minister Modi recognizes that the images that went out have painted the Gujarat government in the most terrible color. And that is justified given that the Gujarat government has so far given no indications of justice being served, having arrested just 9 people, none of which are really of any consequence to what's happening right now. But right after Prime Minister Modi met with the survivors of this horrible tragedy at the civil hospital in Morbi, India Today spoke to some of them. We are right there on site. Let's listen into some of their voices.
और उनसे उन्होंने बात की, पहले इनसे बात की, अब फिर उनसे भी बात की, और इस वार्ड के अंदर तमाम जो पेशेंट्स थे, तमाम जो विक्टिम्स थे, जो सर्वाइवर्स हैं, उनसे प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी ने बातचीत की है। और आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं किस तरीके से ये जो पूरा वार्ड है, यहाँ पर तमाम जो सर्वाइवर्स है वो मौजूद है। उन सर्वाइवर्स से प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी ने बातचीत की है।
In a short while, there will be more live pictures coming in as the Prime Minister meets with the police force as well. There will be a closed-door meeting where the local administration, local politicians, the police will be meeting with the police to give him with the Prime Minister to give him a full up-to-date briefing on what action has been taken so far. Oreva, the company, has not faced justice just yet. They need to be part of the investigation. There has been no indication that any action has been taken against the company so far. Forget about questioning. The owners are nowhere to be found. Clearly, the Prime Minister will be expected to crack the whip so that more progress can be made in the investigation. I want to go across now to India Today's Mustafa Sheikh. He's at the office of the Superintendent of Police of Morbi. Mustafa, is the Prime Minister already there or is he about to arrive?
Yes, Shiv, the Prime Minister is already there at the Superintendent of Police Morbi's office. We'll just show you the entrance from here. The convoy had entered, and there are many relatives of the people who have lost their life in the Morbi bridge accident. Those relatives are also present. PM will meet them. It's also likely that a review meeting with the high officials is going to take place as to what has been the investigation, what is the inquiry commission found out, because there are a lot of questions which are being raised. Some arrests were made, but yes, whether these arrests are enough, whether the blame has been put on the people who have really responsible behind this incident or not, these are questions which are being raised by the relatives, by the people who have lost their life and people at large, because given the big tragedy which has taken place in Morbi. So yes, a lot of answers which are awaited the Prime Minister, because himself has visited the spot, visited the hospital. It's likely that he also has some understanding of what has happened, what must have happened, and hence the review meeting will take place. Prime Minister will be presiding over that review meeting, and we are expecting that some major developments will come out by this late evening once the Prime Minister has taken the review meeting, because there are still a lot of questions there and people are still wanting to know the real truth behind Morbi tragedy. Exactly whose fault or whose negligence was it that it led to such a big tragedy? Back to you, Shiv.
I also want to go across to India Today's Ashutosh, who's at the tragedy site. He was one of the first journalists to reach there, and he joins me live now, just minutes after the Prime Minister, Ashutosh, received an upfront briefing by the Home Minister and local authorities right at that spot where you've been reporting from since Sunday, where that bridge actually broke. What kind of briefing was it? Do we have any inside information about what message the Prime Minister has sent out to the Gujarat government and the local authorities? Because so far, there are no indications that any real action has been taken.
And if there was a message from the Prime Minister, Shiv, then maybe within 24 hours we will see that action happening on the ground. And yes, he also met the rescue officials, including NDRF, Army, and then there was a briefing. Prime Minister praised there all the effort. And this is exactly the place where Prime Minister was standing. He came from here. This was the place where he was, taking stock of the rescue operation. This is where the Home Minister Harsha Sanghavi was briefing him and reading their, the body language, and also the officials who was briefing the Prime Minister. He was going through all these efforts, including this part which was damaged here, the cables from here, and this is another cable, the thick, very much cable that was snapped from this place. Of course, everything has been cleared out now, and including this platform, which is an entry point for the locals, those who are coming to this historic, iconic, century-old suspension bridge. So this was the place. So mostly, largely looks, the briefing was about how this situation perhaps, would have unfolded here right before the Prime Minister's arrival. And that's the, the Oreva's banner, the banner which is placed here from the one side. But the other side, this is how the banners were covered by the authorities, by the local administration. That's another banner of Oreva, and just before, minute before the Prime Minister's arrival, this is how the clothes were being used and to cover the Oreva's banner. But if you see right just in opposite to that, it also has our Oreva's another banner. So that's also shows the kind of embarrassment that the local administration and the government has probably received after that, how the questions being raised that they failed to nab and even name the big big fish of this, man-made tragedy in Morbi, and clearly only going after the security guards, the clerk. The questions being raised that if you haven't even named them, how you gonna interrogate them? How you gonna question them? Have you even issued a summon? But one thing is really expected now, that after Prime Minister's visit here, himself taking stock, clearly easy for him to understand that how there was negligence of duty, and at the same time meeting with the victims, one could really anticipate and expect that when he meeting the top officials of the administration after from the hospital, there will be stern message from the administration, from the government, from the police authority, and especially the SIT formed of top officials, IAS, IPS and specialists who are investigating this case, that at least there will be justice. The top, the big fish will be nailed and named in this investigation by the probe agency, Shiv.
Well, that's most certainly the hope, because the Prime Minister is not just the Prime Minister. He's someone who is from Gujarat. He's been a 3-time Chief Minister. Narendra Modi is, by all accounts, perhaps the tallest living leader from Gujarat, recognized as a son of the soil. So his word really matters on the ground there in Gujarat. Even with the way people have been responding to the Prime Minister, you can tell that this is a man whose word holds a great deal of weight in Gujarat. And that is the reason why this is one opportunity that the Prime Minister has to send out a very clear message that there will be zero tolerance for any kind of cover-up, any kind of pencil pushing, any kind of blame game, any kind of wasting time on an incident that has taken the lives of 135 persons from his home state. The grieving families are hoping for a word from the Prime Minister. Let's listen in to some of the victims and the survivors.
अश्विन
भाई, जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी आए यहाँ पर, क्या कुछ हुआ? आपकी बातचीत हुई? कितने देर यहाँ पे थे? बताइए.
અમારી 4-5 મિનિટ પ્રધાનમંત્રીએ વાત કરી, મારું નામ પૂછ્યું, કેવી રીતના બન્યું, કેટલા વાગે બન્યું. 6:30 વાગે ઘટના થઈ હતી. હા, 6:30 વાગે. मैं 5:30 ગયા હતા, 6:30 વાગે ઘટના થઈ. हिंदी में 4-5 मिनट बात करी मेरी साथ. वो बोलता था कितना बजे गए? 6:30 बजे हम गए थे. 6:30 बजे घटना बनी है.
कुछ आपने पूरी घटना बताइए, कैसे क्या हुआ था, जो आपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी को पूरी घटना बताई.
मैंने घटना सब बताई, वो सुनता था सभी हमारी घटना.
क्या हुआ था?
हमने सभी घटना बताई कि ये वैद में लड़का है, एक बीजा लतू मारने लगता है, किसी को हालने नहीं देता, ट्रैफिक जाम कर दिया, ऐसा सब होता है. हमने बताई और हम झूलवा मंडो, और सामने से 3 बार आवाज आई तो टूट गया. तो फिर हम झाड़ी पर टिंगा गए, वो भी हमें सुना, वो भी देखा.
क्या बोल के गए?
मोदी बोल के कहा कि पग में कैसा लगा है, कैसा है, तुम कैसे हो, अच्छा हो जाएगा.
आश्वस्त है कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी खुद आए यहाँ पर मिलने?
ना, બહુ મિલને આવ્યા. મુખ્યમંત્રી હતા, વડાપ્રધાન ભાઈ હતા, મુખ્યમંત્રી પણ હતા, બરાબર. केंद्रीय मंत्री પણ હતા.
और क्या बोले फिर बात?
ना, अच्छा हो जाएगा, चलो चलते.
इस तरीके की घटना हुई है, किसको जिम्मेदार?
जिम्मेदार तो हलाता था, वो चलने नहीं देते, उसको हम जिम्मेदार मानते हैं, वो बोला है.
कितने लोगों से बातचीत की और क्या कुछ कहा?
बात तो की આપણે પીએમ આરે વાત કરી, પછી હર્ષ સંઘવી સાહેબ આરે વાત કરી, પછી આપણા મુખ્યમંત્રી હતા એની આરે પણ અમે વાત કરી.
चलो.
This is the Superintendent of Police's office in Morbi, where the Prime Minister is about to leave very shortly. This will bring to a close his scheduled visit in Morbi. We're waiting for the Prime Minister to come out. He isn't expected to make any public comments. At least that's not part of the plan that has been shared with the media so far. But this is election season in Gujarat. The Prime Minister may have a few words to say. He's already spoken about the Morbi tragedy a little earlier. But let's wait and see what happens now. Live pictures coming in from outside the Superintendent of Police's office. Let's see if we can go across to India. It is Mustafa Sheikh who's there right now. Mustafa, Prime Minister inside, meeting with the police officials right now. There will be big expectations after this, Mustafa, for the investigation to speed up and to make sure that the big fish are arrested as well.
That's true. Fixing the responsibility is something which even the family of the victims are asking for. So we are showing you the live visuals of Superintendent of Police Morbi's office. In a while from now, the Prime Minister is expected to leave from here. So once he meets the police officials, it's likely that there will be some idea as to how the investigation is going to progress, because everybody is asking the same question: whether the people who have been arrested are the people who are really responsible for this tragedy, or whether it was some kind of a nexus in giving the agreement, some kind of a negligence for opening up a bridge without a fitness certificate, some mismanagement that so many people were allowed just by buying a 70 rupee ticket, and the bridge was overflowing with people. There was no place to stand, and in that condition it collapsed. So clearly there are many questions which have been raised, and the entire country in fact is looking for answers, is looking for a way out, that this kind of a tragedy does not happen again on these bridges. So it's a big question as of now on the Gujarat police, on the inquiry commission, as to how they progress in this particular case. And hence the Prime Minister himself, when he has visited the spot, he has met the people who are injured, he has met relatives of the victims, he has met police officials himself. So it is expected that there will be some big development by late evening in this case, and there will be some answers to the people who are watching this, some answers to the relatives of the victims as to what really happened and why this tragedy took place. Back to you.
Ashutosh also continues to be with me. Ashu, you know, what's happening on the ground? Okay, we'll go back to Ashutosh in just a moment. The Prime Minister will be visible in just a few seconds from now. Security arrangements have been made. The Prime Minister will be walking out in just a moment, and then he will be departing from Morbi in Gujarat. We're awaiting more word. We're hoping to perhaps hear from the Superintendent of Police of Gujarat. Remember, the IG, the Inspector General in the area, had spoken yesterday to inform the public about the arrests that have been made so far. But as far as the investigation is concerned, hopefully the Prime Minister's stopover in Morbi will have the kind of effect that the public expects right now. Zero tolerance for half measures, zero tolerance for cosmetics and symbolic measures. Real action seen against the company and the senior officials and government officials in Gujarat responsible for what may have been a nexus of negligence that resulted in the deaths of 135 Gujarati citizens. That is the real question right now. That is the kind of pressure that needs to be applied on the government at this point of time. Mustafa, is the police in Morbi likely to speak after the Prime Minister leaves? There will be a lot of questions.
Well, what we can say as of now, that they will be definitely in action mode after the Prime Minister leaves. We are already we have seen the IG who coming out of the office, and he is right now, the visuals which are in front of us, this Innova car, is the Inspector General who took the press conference yesterday is leaving after meeting the Prime Minister. So clearly there must have been some indications given to them as to there has to be transparency in the inquiry and investigation conducted in this case. The Prime Minister continues to be at the Superintendent of Police office. We can see some movement from his security convoy here, and he still continues to be at the Superintendent of Police office. So clearly they will be, the local administration, the police will be in action mode, because there are a lot of questions which are being asked, and it cannot be delayed. There has to be answer, there has to be a responsibility fixed. So clearly we are expecting that this is going to happen in the sometime starting from now. The IG came out, he left from his car. The Prime Minister is yet to leave Superintendent of Police's office. Review meeting is taking place. High-level officials of Gujarat government are also present with him. The Home Minister himself is present with him. So clearly there are indications that investigation will progress in a speedy manner from now on, because the Prime Minister himself visited the spot and he has taken the stock of the situation. And yes, of course, in such a big incident, the arrests which have taken place till now are also raising questions that are there more people involved, whether the culpability has been fixed or not. So these are questions. We are getting to see some movement from the Superintendent of Police's office. So sometime the Prime Minister is about to leave from here, but at the same time this case, the tragedy which has taken place, it needs justice, is something which we are expecting, and we hope that it happens soon. Back to you, Shiv.
I really hope that the Gujarat police is going to be taking some questions after the Prime Minister leaves, because it's been 2 days since this tragedy. It happened a little after 6 p.m. on Sunday. So it's now 2 days since the tragedy. But there's been only one press conference by the police, expecting them to provide more information, especially on, you know, the Oreva symbol being covered up before the Prime Minister arrived, the fact that the owners of Oreva are nowhere to be found. Shouldn't they be questioned as well? Why have only small-timers, been detained and arrested by the Morbi police so far? What about those who were asleep at the wheel while all of this was happening? What about those guilty of omission and commission as well? The Prime Minister there sending out an extremely positive message, most definitely sending out a message of reassurance, to the victims, to their families, that justice will be done. But the technical aspects of the investigation cannot be let go of, viewer. And that's the reason why India Today will not be letting go of this story. 135 Indians dead makes it one of the worst human-made tragedies in our country's history. This is something that could have been easily avoided. I'm sure the Prime Minister, who has let his emotions show over the last couple of days, would have had a thing or two to say to many of the people involved, and he's met all of them. He's met the victims, he's met with the staff, he's met with the rescue personnel, he's met with the local administration and the police. Here are live pictures coming in of the Prime Minister meeting with some of the survivors. Let's see if we can get some sound in from the ground.
बहुत ही गंभीर समय है और ऐसे में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने जब खुद
Pictures courtesy of Doordarshan, the Prime Minister meeting with that gentleman in the yellow sweatshirt whose voice you just heard on India Today a few minutes ago. I'll play that out again for you in just a moment. Here's the Prime Minister interacting with some of the survivors who miraculously escaped, even as 135 of their friends, family and fellow tourists on that bridge did not meet that same fate. They all perished. These persons that the Prime Minister is meeting are the survivors. They're flanked by their loved ones. There are little children there as well. Remember, 47 children, minors, lost their lives in Sunday evening's tragedy. Their families will never have peace. And that's one of the reasons why the message that goes out from the Prime Minister's visit here is so important. He's taking the time to meet as many of them as he can, exchanging a few words, perhaps also reassuring them that justice will be served and that the guilty will be punished. The Prime Minister is joined by the Home Minister. The man in the white you see behind the Prime Minister is Harsh Sanghvi, the Home Minister of Gujarat. Several questions on his plate as well that have not been answered just yet. There are big picture questions that the Gujarat government cannot dodge at this point of time, and India Today will not stop asking those questions. Well, these are pictures, in case our viewers are wondering, these are pictures from the ground, courtesy Doordarshan. There is no audio, so I wish we could all hear what the Prime Minister is saying to some of these survivors. Sadly, there isn't any audio in this particular feed, so I'm going to have to describe some of these pictures to you. As we progress our coverage of the Prime Minister's visit, this is the Morbi Civil Hospital in Gujarat, where all of the survivors are currently being treated. Some of them have been in a more serious condition than others, but most are out of danger and are being treated for injuries as well as lacerations that they suffered in the fall from that particular bridge. Indications are that the Gujarat police could be speaking. These are live pictures of the Prime Minister's cavalcade now leaving from the Superintendent of Police's office. The Prime Minister has completed his visit. He's just met with the police. Hope we will, of course, get you some news breaks on what happened inside the police headquarters of Morbi, where an interaction has just taken place. The Prime Minister's cavalcade now pulling out. That visit is complete. Now, what exactly was said, whether people have been put on notice, whether people have been pulled up, castigated, we will know in the next few minutes as our reporters do their work to get that information, because all of these meetings have taken place behind closed doors. But survivors, their families will be expecting more than just the visual. They will want to know what precisely the Prime Minister has said to officials and those in positions of authority, and how that justice precisely is going to be delivered over the next few days, weeks and months. Because those are questions that cannot be avoided. Here is the Prime Minister in a final namaste before he departs from Morbi. In his cavalcade, leaving from there, that was that picture of the Prime Minister leaving Morbi after spending a little over an hour and a half there in the town, meeting with the victims. There are several people in the chain of command who are required to answer specific questions that India today has, and none of them have so far. After the Prime Minister's departure, hopefully we will have more very, very shortly. Saurabh Vakhtania continues to be with us from the civil hospital where the Prime Minister just spoke to many of the victims. Saurabh, the Prime Minister has just departed. That brings to a close his visit. We heard some of the survivors speaking to you earlier. Anything more you can tell us about the visit and about the message that the Prime Minister has sent out? Do we know what he told the survivors? Has he assured them of justice, speedy justice, and the culprits not going off the hook? Saurabh?
So, well, Shiv, let me tell you, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi was at civil hospital for over 7 to 8 minutes. There were 2 separate wards which were made by the officials. One was the male ward, second was the female ward. He spoke, he went to both the wards, he spoke to the survivors, and let me tell you, they told Prime Minister Narendra Modi the entire sequence of event, that how this particular bridge actually collapsed, how this whole incident took place. It's very important because Shiv, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself getting to know how about this whole incident. He first went to the accident site, he met the officials over here, now he's meeting the survivors, and after meeting the survivors, he have now reached the SP office. Now, SP office is sense very important because the 5 members committee which has been made, the officials are over there, the DM, also the chief officer of the municipal corporation himself is present over there. So he is going to have a meeting with the review committee and got to know the exact sequence of event, who all people are involved in this particular matter, and we are expecting a tough action will be taken. But before that, Shiv, let me tell you that this particular civil hospital is in question for the from last night, because there was a lot of renovation work, the cleaning work which happened over here. Let me show the visuals over here. This is the particular water cooler which was installed just yesterday night, and people were raising questions that why just before the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit all this thing is happening. Now, very interesting thing, Shiv. Look at this. This water cooler has been put up at this particular place just yesterday, and let me show you. This isn't even working. So was this cooler just water cooler made for a showpiece when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming? Look at this visuals. Freshly made, all the equipments. It is not even working. Here they are saying that how there will be a garbage dustbin, but here you can see no dustbin present over here. And this entire parapet, let me show you, this whole thing on which this cooler is been kept, this is built entirely in the night. And this water cooler is placed over here, which is not even working. You can see that water is not actually coming from this cooler.
Hello, stay on with me. Some reactions coming in from the police office.
Chalo.
Okay, clearly, a local authority or official there was speaking and not really commenting on the Prime Minister's stopover at the SP's office. Saurabh, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead. You were showing us the facilities there at the hospital that were created just before the Prime Minister arrived.
So yes, like I was showing you this particular water cooler, also there were several of the arrangements which were done for this particular visit. Let me take you to this particular ward over here, the ward in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually came and he met the survivors. Let me tell you, he spoke to several of the survivors and they told him that how actually this whole incident actually took place. He met them, they assured them that yes, proper action will be taken. And now here you can see that these are the two wards in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi had actually arrived. He spoke to the survivors present over here. So now he has also assured the survivors that yes, strict action will be taken in this whole incident. And most importantly, Shiv, let me tell you that after going to the accident spot, he came to the hospital and now he's at the SP office, and this particular meeting is very important. We can understand the gravity if Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself is investigating this whole case. The whole SIT team, the SP, the DM, all the chief officers are present over there. Proper review meeting is going to happen. But the big question still remains, when are the big fish in this whole case are going to be arrested? Why are...
Saurabh, stay with me. Just getting some more voices in from the ground of some of the survivors and their families. Let's listen in.
मजबूती दे वही कारण।
तो क्या किसी परिवार के शख्स ने डिमांड की है कि क्या सच्चाई है, कैसे ये हादसा हुआ, इसकी सच्चाई सामने आनी चाहिए?
आनी चाहिए। वो का वो तो हो जाएगी, कार्रवाई तो पूरी होगी।
ऐसा आश्वासन दिया कि पूरी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
पूरी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
कितनी देर तक थे पीएम साहब आप लोगों के साथ? कितनी देर तक थे प्रधानमंत्री साहब आप लोगों के साथ?
15 मिनट के 10 मिनट के बाद साथ बात की।
कुछ बता सके अगर कि जब आप बेटियां वहाँ पे गई हुई थी, किसके साथ गई थी?
बेटी नहीं थी, तीनों लड़के थे मेरे, कुछ नहीं, तीनों लड़के ही गए थे।
तीनों लड़के गए थे?
हाँ, और कोई नहीं थे। बीबी भी मेरे घर पे थी, मैं भी घर पे था, तीनों लड़के ही गए, घूमने गए थे। हाँ, अकेले ही थे।
और कब आपको कैसे मालूम पड़ा ऐसे इस हादसे के बाद?
उसका दोस्त का फोन है कि उसका दोस्त का फोन है कि पुल दुर्घटना न हुए, पुल टूट गया है, ऐसे फोन आया तो मैं तुरंत बाइक लेके चला गया।
कितने बच्चे हैं?
बस 3 ही बच्चे थे, 3 ही चले गए।
कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं आप?
ये मोरबी का।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने आश्वासन दिया है कि कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
कार्रवाई की जाएगी। और कुछ नहीं बोला।
All right, the Prime Minister's visit has come to an end. Hopefully, there will be a message that has gone out that justice needs to be served as quickly as possible. Mustafa continues to be with us live. Mustafa, expectations from the victims, their families, survivors, is that justice needs to be served as quickly as possible. Has the Prime Minister sent out that message, Mustafa? Mustafa, if you can hear me, what kind of message has the Prime Minister sent out? Are you getting a sense after speaking to the survivors? Okay, I think Mustafa can't hear me because he's on a link trying to speak to some of the survivors. So we'll connect with him in just a moment. Ashutosh continues to be with me. Ashu, the Prime Minister has met pretty much all sections on this brief visit to Morbi. What is your sense? Is the police going to speak out? Are they going to, announce any more action that they've taken as part of the investigation? Because it can be seen as the Prime Minister cracking the whip. Hopefully action will be taken now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the action itself will make its own noise because one could really anticipate that Prime Minister, after taking a stock himself of the situation, seeing exactly the point, the epicenter of this entire tragedy, and how that probably would, that happened, that triggered, almost killed around 130 people, 2 still missing. That is, and also moreover, because there is a pressure on the administration. Otherwise, to just avoid the embarrassment, how they covered the company's name, then you see, of course, there is a pressure also being built up. And particularly the state, remember, is also going for the assembly election. And one could anticipate that just in a couple of days, the poll dates will be announced. One, also seeing the public pressure, the opposition is mounting the pressure, the local administration itself comes under pressure. And when the Prime Minister visiting, they are bound to act swiftly. And so for the accusation that is being leveled, that just they are trying to cover up, going after, the small fishes of this company and the big names are still being...
कार्रवाई के बारे में कुछ ऐसी बात की गई नहीं, कार्रवाई के बारे में, एक्शन के बारे में अभी कुछ उसने डिस्कशन नहीं किया किसी के साथ।
We're hoping to get the police of Morbi live here on India Today in just a few minutes from now to answer some of our questions post the Prime Minister's departure from Morbi. What next? What are the path ahead? We will stay with this story and get you the very latest. The Prime Minister has just spent over an hour in Morbi. What next is going to be absolutely crucial. We'll keep our viewers posted. This is India's big story. And just to show you images that the Prime Minister has chaired a meeting while in Gujarat with senior officials from the district, from the area as well. All of it will, of course, be pertaining to what has happened in Morbi. A somber affair, but heads will have to roll. That is going to be the unanimous call from the public, from the families, from the opposition and beyond, that heads need to roll, a message needs to be sent out. This is not about politics, this is about justice for 135 persons. The office of the Superintendent of Police, where the Prime Minister has just met with local authorities, district officials, as well as the police leadership of the Morbi district of Gujarat. The Prime Minister obviously listening to various versions, and he would have had a thing or two to say to each of one of these persons assembled here as well, many of whom in the public view right now have simply not done their job. Can they be off the hook? We'll have to wait and see. Depending on what action is taken next, we'll know what message the Prime Minister has sent out. Those pictures coming in from Morbi in Gujarat. Coming up next here on 5 Live, I'm taking you from Gujarat to Telangana, where a big political collision has just taken place. 4 years after Rahul Gandhi was called a buffoon, there's been a big collision with the state leadership. Meanwhile, violence has broken out between the ruling party of Telangana and the BJP ahead of the Munugod by-poll. Much more on that after this break.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
Boxer Vijayendra Singh has joined the cast of Salman Khan's next Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan. Mrunal Thakur, on the other hand, is all set to share screen space with Huma Qureshi in Pooja Meri Jaan. It's time to check out what is keeping our celebrities busy. Here's our popular segment, What's Trending. Salman Khan's Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan has gotten bigger and better. The actor took to social media and introduced boxer Vijayendra Singh as part of the upcoming family entertainer film. Salman Khan also posted a group picture from the sets and wished Vijayendra Singh on his birthday. Sharing the picture, the Sultan actor wrote, and we quote, "Happy birthday, Hamare boxer bhai Vijayendra Singh. Welcome on board. Hashtag Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan." Alongside Salman, Vijayendra, Jassi Gill, Raghav Jial and Siddharth Nigam were seen posing for the camera. Vijayendra thanked Salman and shared the same picture on his handle. Kisi Ka Bhai Kisi Ki Jaan is an action-packed entertainer directed by Fahad Samji and features Salman Khan, Pooja Hegde and Venkatesh in lead role. The actor has a couple of interesting projects in his kitty. Recently, the Sultan actor had announced the new release date of his next action thriller film, Tiger 3, which was previously scheduled to hit cinemas on April 23rd, 2023. But now it will roll out in theaters on the occasion of Diwali 2023.
Tiger always ready. आ रहे हैं. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now.
Imagine waking up to a new catastrophe every day. The world that we live in is leading towards a future where in a year there will be 560 catastrophes. This is not a plot of a horror movie, but instead this will be our reality, according to the UN. Yes, the UN has said if we don't act on climate change now, by the year 2030, we will have 560 catastrophes a year. Report by the UN paints a grim picture. It says most disasters would be weather-related, like fires and floods. But many will be hazards such as pandemics or chemical accidents. The scientific report said climate change is increasing the magnitude, frequency, duration and severity of climate-related hazards. It has become a major driver for disaster losses and development achievement setbacks. We currently are experiencing many heat waves. The report says that by the year 2030, the number of heat waves will be 3 times of what it was in 2001. The scariest part is this. The report talked not just about climate disasters, it looked at COVID-19, economic meltdowns, food shortage, all triggered by climate change. Decisions made by humans are too narrow and have been over-optimistic about the risk of the potential disasters. This leaves the world unprepared. The chief of the UN Office of Disaster Risk Reduction, Mami Mizutori, said if we don't get ahead of the curve, it will reach a point where we cannot manage the consequences of the disaster. According to the World Meteorological Organization, India's average annual loss in 2020 was around $87 billion. This was due to floods, cyclones and droughts. In 1990, disasters cost the world about $70 billion a year. Cut to now, they cost more than $170 billion. This is after adjusting for inflation and it doesn't include the indirect costs. Amina J. Mohammed, UN Deputy Secretary General, said the world needs to do more to incorporate disaster risk in how we live, build and invest, which is setting humanity on a spiral of self-destruction. We must turn our collective complacency to action. Not just this, but the Asia-Pacific region suffers the highest damage. The region loses an average of 1.6% of their GDP annually to disasters. Climate change demands action now.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
There's been a huge escalation in state of war Telangana. As you know, Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is in the state right now, and Rahul Gandhi clearly recalling 4 years ago when the Chief Minister of Telangana had called Rahul Gandhi a buffoon who can't do anything for his party or for the country. Well, Rahul Gandhi remembers that because he took a direct pot shot at the Chief Minister today, and it has triggered a mother of all slugfests in the state. Take a look.
The Rahul Sena has entered Castle KCR. Entering Hyderabad today, the Senapati of the Bharat Jodo Yatra has hit straight at the top.
This confusion is created by the TRS themselves. I'll repeat it clearly, there's absolutely no question of any relationship between the TRS and the Congress. The Chief Minister of Telangana believes that he is running a national party. That's perfectly okay, there's no problem, he can believe it. And he's welcome to think that no, I'm running an international party, one that is also fighting elections in the United States and fighting in China and other countries. Good, no problem, we are perfectly happy to accept it.
That one comment has had the same effect as breaking down the Chief Minister's door and invited this full frontal response from Telangana Chief Minister KCR's son, mocking Rahul Gandhi for his famous loss in Amethi in the 2019 election. The run-up to the 2019 election is in fact precisely when this vicious animosity between KCR and Rahul Gandhi first exploded. After Rahul's Congress had tied up disastrously with KCR's archenemy Chandrababu Naidu for the 2018 Telangana state polls, KCR had famously launched this offensive at the then Congress president.
मैं क्या राहुल गांधी क्या फैक्टर है मालूम है सबको दुनिया में the biggest buffoon in the country. Everybody knows. Whole country has seen the open assembly how he went to Mr. Narendra Modi and hugged him. The way he is winking.
While Rahul was defeated in Amethi, the 2019 tsunami had washed away KTR's own sister, Kavita, from her Nizamabad Lok Sabha constituency. But those are small details in this ugly flashpoint now exploding in Hyderabad, essentially between two dynasties. From being branded a buffoon to now being mocked for his Amethi loss. Rahul's Congress is desperate for revenge in Telangana. First, in the upcoming Munugod Assembly by-poll this week, forced by sitting Congress MLA, dumping the party and jumping to the BJP. And next, the Telangana Assembly election next year. The irony is writ large. Telangana was created by Congress-led government at the centre. Now Rahul leads a 375-kilometre march through 26 constituencies in the state, hoping for relevance and revival. Bureau Report, India Today.
And this is a really ill-tempered face-off that has broken out between Rahul Gandhi and the Chief Minister of Telangana, who once called him a buffoon, and now Rahul Gandhi has hit back. Joining me live, let's take it to the politicians of both these parties. Krishank Mane, leader of the TRS, Ram Mohan Reddy, I beg your pardon, is spokesperson of the Congress party. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Krishank, first to you. Why has KTR responded in such a personal way, Krishank? Rahul Gandhi has taken a pot shot at KCR, talked about his ambitions, national, international. KTR has responded in a very visceral, personal way. Saying, who is this guy? He can't even win Amethi. Who is he to lecture us? Why so personal? What happened?
The reason is, Shiv, the statement yesterday given by Mr. Rahul Gandhi seems to be very sarcastic on KCRG's BRS announcement, and probably the Congress is insecure where any regional party wants to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party. These kind of statements have not only been at us, at Mamta ji. He has called Janata Dal Secular as Team B of BJP. And we don't see that Rahul Gandhi is anywhere learning his lessons. See, he is doing his Jodo Yatra. After every election, Rahul Gandhi takes up Bharat Chodo Yatra because we don't see him here after polls. And this man who is running away from responsibilities, why I'm saying running away from responsibilities, you've changed your seat from Amethi after a loss. Not only that, today when Gujarat is going for polls, you are not going ahead for Gujarat, not taking up the battle against Bharatiya Janata Party, and you want to claim a patent right, that as if it is only Congress's patent right to take on BJP, but you are not taking on the fierce battle against Mr. Narendra Modi at Gujarat. Not only that, what is shocking is, Shiv, in Munugod, while right now, in another 15 minutes,
Krishank, I'll come to Munugod.
I'll just complete this.
I'll come to Munugod in a separate question.
Can you believe, Shiv, can you believe the Congress's candidate of Munugod leaves the election campaign with the entire Congress brigade and joins in the Jodo Yatra? You see, where is the Congress?
You made your point. Ram Mohan Reddy, respond to what what first of all Mr. KTR said, also what Krishank has said, saying that, that who is Rahul Gandhi to lecture us? He assumes for himself a certain position, but how dare he come to our house and lecture us about politics? I mean, this is the same, party whose leader once called Rahul Gandhi a buffoon. It happened in 2018. We all remember that. Rahul has hit back, and now they've done it again. They've said, "Arey, you lost Amethi. Why are you lecturing us?"
No, isn't it very clear that who is feeling that insecurity through their tweets? And why can't you be an optimist? Why can't you take it in a positive way? He welcomed you, even if you go to a global stage. He accepts that. Then why are you being so pessimist?
No, but come on, that was sarcastic, Ram. Come on, that was a sarcastic comment.
It is your attitude. Rahul Gandhi never used any filthy language like KCR or KTR. See, today TRS leaders need some burn oil because Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra in Telangana is bringing so much of pain to TRS leaders here. So that is the reason all this frustration is coming out. Arey, what is that? Why are you comparing Rahul Gandhi with KCR? Come on, Rahul Gandhi is a national figure, and why KCR should be compared with him? Here, my friend Krishank addresses that, Rahul Gandhi has left Gujarat. He is running away from the responsibility. Come on, Rahul Gandhi has taken the responsibility of saving democracy by doing Padayatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir.
We can debate the efficacy of the Bharat Jodo Yatra another time.
He is the opposition leader. He is the centric figure who is running the opposition's voice.
I am just saying that by Rahul Gandhi, by mounting this attack on KCR directly, I mean, focusing on Munugod is one thing. Focusing an attack on KCR, perhaps in the bigger picture, will only help the BJP. Is that what you're wondering, Krishank? Why does Rahul Gandhi come to our territory and attack us? There's also a bit of an entitlement there. Who is this guy coming here and attacking us in this way?
No, the problem is, Shiv, where the attitude of Congress party, that they don't know whom they should fight. They don't know how seriously they have to fight with the Bharatiya Janata Party. They don't know to face the battle against Bharatiya Janata Party in elections. They can't set their own house in order. Like for instance, the Munugod is a living example now. A Congress MP telephones to Congress Karyakartas asking to support for a BJP candidate, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, we have given a show cause notice. Election bhi ho gaya bhaiya. Your show cause notice gaya bhaad mein. The only thing is Rahul Gandhi is insecure. You see, national figure. What is this national figure when you cannot take on the Bharatiya Janata Party? Mr. KCR has been taking on Bharatiya Janata Party seriously, including the Congress also. And if Rahul Gandhi is coming and giving statements of international politics, we very well know the international fiasco.
Krishank, straight question. Is it, all these very, very, obviously nobody can say, anything is permanent in politics. But with this very personal kind of confrontation between the two leaders, KTR and Rahul, I am wondering, is it impossible that your two parties will find common cause against the BJP? Because surely that's the big picture as far as 2024 is concerned. Quick answer.
Well, the whole national scenario is showing that Congress is actually a sinking ship. Congress is not an alternative. It's only that they feel that it is their patent right. India is not their patent right. National politics is not only Congress's patent right. So we are not thinking about Congress. Our only point is pointing out about the failures of Modi ji and government of India.
Okay.
If Rahul Gandhi fails to understand this, if he wants to continue to attack different stakeholders who are fighting out against Modi ji, that itself shows that Rahul ji is not serious about Modi or government of India, but he is only serious about his aspirations.
Within Telangana, obviously the Congress will have to take on the TRS because the TRS is the sitting ruling party there. But the accusation against your national leader, as you claim, Ram, is that you are confused about who to take on. You know, you're spending all your energy sniping at at local parties, at state level parties, and not taking on the real, quote unquote enemy, which is Modi's BJP.
See, the point is this.
That is what even KCR was angry about the last time in 2018, because your party tied up with the TDP, etc.
The point is this. See, when leaders fight on national platform, okay, they discuss and they counterfeit against national politics and national parties. When Rahul ji is working in Telangana, whom should he address? And that was the question posed by one of the journalists there.
Yeah,
So he responded. Right. So he responded. Who is in power sitting in Telangana? It is TRS. So he was asked a question. So what is the stand? Then Rahul ji has told that it is the state body's resolution also to not go with any alliance in future politics.
Yeah.
So he was very clear. He was very much clear. But I don't know why my learned friend is exhausting his anguish other than discussing on the subject. Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi.
Because I think Congress is also remains only in one state.
It is.
If TRS is in one state, Congress is also in one state, my friend.
Party like Congress party. At the same time, don't compare a state leader like KTR or KCR.
I think I have a feeling.
Stop belittling.
Okay.
I think Rahul Gandhi should be magnanimous enough.
Okay.
Stop belittling some experienced leaders like KCR who helped Congress to come into power.
Look, all I can say is
Rahul Gandhi has never helped to win an election.
Okay.
He has run away from Uttar Pradesh. Tell me one state where Rahul Gandhi could single-handedly win an election. My straight question is, Shiv, did in entire Congress's history and Rahul Gandhi's political history,
I'm out of time, guys.
Single-handedly could he win an election?
Okay, you've already said that. Krishank, you've already said that. Okay, I don't want to make this more personal than it already is. We leave it for KTR and Rahul Gandhi to slug it out. There are a few more days that the Congress has on the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Surely there are going to be more arrows flying between both the camps in the beautiful state of Telangana. Remember, Munugod goes to the bypoll 2 days from now. Most expensive, most fiercely fought bypoll in recent memory in this country. No mystery why tempers are so high in the state of Telangana. We'll keep our eye very closely fixed on that. That's it on 5 Live. Thanks for watching. Coming up next, 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar's explosive charge directly at the Aam Aadmi Party. We've got the full document, the full letter that nobody else has, with every angle that he's alleging. It's unbelievable. Akshita unwraps it right next at 6 p.m.
It's time now to fly 7 seas across to check out the biggest newsmakers from the West. Here's Fully Foreign.
Baby love, I think I've been a little too kind. Didn't notice you walking all over my peace of mind. And the shoes I gave you as a present, putting someone first only works when you're in their top 5. And by the way, I'm going out tonight.
Singer-songwriter Taylor Swift scored her 11th #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart as her studio album Midnights earned the equivalent of selling 1.578 million units, the largest week for any album in 7 years.
In the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart. Diamonds in my eyes. I polish up real nice. Baby boy, I think I've been too good of a girl.
She also became the only musician to claim the entire top 10 in the Billboard Hot 100 list.
I think it's time to teach some lessons. I made you my world. Have you heard? I can reclaim the land.
Swift's album beat out the record set by Drake's Certified Lover Boy, which had occupied the 9th spot of the Hot 100's top for a week back in September 2021. Taylor Swift reacted to the same on social media and wrote, 10 out of 10 of the Hot 100. On my 10th album, I am in shambles. Leading the way for Swift on the Hot 100 list was her song Anti-Hero, which occupied the #1 spot, her 9th career leader.
My covert narcissism, like disguises altruism, like some kind of consciousness. All this time, I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, and life will lose all its meaning. For the last time, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. At tea time.
आज ऑस्ट्रेलिया और इंडिया का मैच काफी धमाकेदार होने वाला है, क्योंकि एक तरफ है टीम कंगारू और दूसरी तरफ है टीम हु आर यू। अपने देश की जर्सी पाने के लिए कोई भी खिलाड़ी अपनी जान लगा देता है, पर यहाँ तो ऐसा लगता है कि उन्हें ये जर्सी उधार में मिली है। अगर ये टीम हार भी जाए तो फैंस कतई निराश नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि फैंस है ही नहीं।
जब जर्सी खुद के नाम का नहीं, तो फैन किस नाम को फॉलो करेगा?
Anushka Sharma has dropped a string of pictures on social media as she wrapped up the Kolkata schedule of her upcoming sports biopic Chak Da Express. She captioned the photos as "Eat, Pray, Love, My Kolkata Photo Dump. #Chak Da Express, #Kolkata." Soon after the actors shared the pictures, fans filled the comment section with heart and fire emoticons. Anushka's husband and cricketer Virat Kohli also dropped multiple red heart emoticons in the comment section. Actor Arjun Kapoor also commented and said, "Feeling like what took precedence." Directed by Process Roy, Chak Da Express is a sports biopic based on the life of former Indian cricketer Jhulan Goswami, which will start streaming exclusively on Netflix.
अपना नाम बना लिया, आजकल अपना पहचान भी बना लेगा।
Co-presented by PolicyBazaar.com. Co-powered by only OLX Autos gives the best price for your car. In association with LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. LG OLED, the one and only. Smart Bazaar, India's new Bachat Bazaar.
Super conman Sukesh conned in jail. Sukesh's bombshell letter against the Aam Aadmi Party. gave up 50 crore rupees for Rajya Sabha seat. Gave Satyendra Jain 10 crore rupees for protection, he claims. It doesn't get more embarrassing than this. BJP lashes out at AAP.
जब मिल बैठेंगे तीन यार गूंजेंगी तिहार की दीवार हमने मिलकर किया भ्रष्टाचार भ्रष्टाचार भ्रष्टाचार
But Kejriwal laughs off Sukesh's claim.
मोरबी से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए ये एक completely fictitious, completely फर्जी स्टोरी एक प्लांट की गई है.
The Tihar Vasuli Gate is our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us live here on 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this evening we're going to be talking about the big political story of the day. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar, someone you're very familiar with because we've given you details over the last many months about the 200 crore con scandal case that he pulled off. He's languishing in Delhi's Mandoli jail right now, shot off a letter to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, alleging that he is a victim of a con job orchestrated by the Aam Aadmi Party, orchestrated by the Delhi Jail Minister Satyendra Jain, who's ironically behind bars himself in a money laundering case. We're getting you all the details of what Sukesh has said, that 2-page letter that he's written to the LGs with us here on India Today. I'm also getting you details of how the Aam Aadmi Party has responded to this charge. First, as always, let's begin with the headlines. Prime Minister Modi in Morbi visits victims and also at the accident site where the bridge snapped. Prime Minister chairs review meet, assures justice and thorough probe to the survivors. India Today tracks firm behind the bridge collapse. Top Oreva officials go missing. Oreva boss Jaisukh Bhai Patel's house deserted. Offices shut since Diwali. Conman Sukesh's explosive charge at AAP writes letter to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor alleging he paid over 60 crores to AAP and Satyendra Jain. Kejriwal calls it BJP's attempt to divert attention from the Morbi tragedy. Air quality deteriorates across Delhi at several locations. The air quality turns hazardous. It will remain in the very poor to severe category in the next 6 days. War of words erupts over stubble burning. On last day of Munukodu Bypole in Telangana, violence breaks out. BJP convoy attacked by TRS. Police resort to lathi charge. And mega escalation in state of war Telangana after Rahul mocks KCR for his national ambition. KTR hits back, calls Rahul a wannabe Prime Minister. First, the money laundering case. Second, massage gate. And now, the latest controversy that jailed Delhi Minister Satyendra Jain finds himself in is conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar claiming he paid over 10 crores to Satyendra Jain, who's the jail minister, as protection money. That's not all. Sukesh Chandrasekhar has also claimed he paid 50 crore rupees, at least 50 crore rupees to the Aam Aadmi Party for a Rajya Sabha seat. He claimed that he wanted a political role in the South. All of these allegations Sukesh Chandrasekhar has levelled in a 2-page letter that he shot off to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor. Let's get you all the details, the reactions that have come in first.
He's pulled off one of the most sensational con jobs in Indian history, siphoning off hundreds of crores. And now the super con man has been conned, or so he claims. Sukesh Chandrasekhar, in a scathing 2-page letter, has claimed he was conned of 60 crore by Aam Aadmi Party and jailed Minister Satyendra Jain. In his handwritten letter to Delhi LG Saxena, Sukesh has said that he paid 10 crores to the jail minister to Satyendra Jain and also 50 crores to Aam Aadmi Party for a Rajya Sabha berth from South. Sukesh then has alleged that Satyendra Jain even met him in jail several times. Sukesh claims he is being harassed to withdraw the serious charges that he's levelled against Aam Aadmi Party and so wants the LG to crack the whip.
Both Sukesh Chandrasekhar and Satyendra Jain, they have been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in different cases. But also one of the serious allegation about bribery to Delhi minister, that fact is still being verified by the Enforcement Directorate because whether Sukesh Chandrasekhar has access to that amount of money, whether the money moved from someone to Satyendra Jain or not.
India Today spoke to Sukesh's lawyer, who confirmed that the conman believes his life is in danger now and is facing threats from Aam Aadmi Party.
It's a matter of corruption and extortion inside the jail. There is a racket inside the jail, and that is being run by the senior topmost officers of the jail in connivance with the as per the letter, this has been done in connivance with the jail mantri at that time, Satyendra Jain. Specifically, it has been alleged in the complaint that around 10 crore rupees was extorted by the Satyendra Jain.
Soon enough, the BJP lashed out at Aam Aadmi Party with an extortion party jibe and questioning if Kejriwal will continue to shield and defend Satyendra Jain.
चंद दिनों के अंदर हम तिहाड़ जेल के अंदर शायद ये पंक्तियां सुन सकेंगे। जब मिल बैठेंगे तीन यार, जब मिल बैठेंगे तीन यार, गूंजेंगी तिहाड़ की दीवार, हमने मिलकर किया भ्रष्टाचार, भ्रष्टाचार, भ्रष्टाचार.
And here's how Kejriwal responded.
There is a lot of controversy about this allegations about this conman called Sukesh Chandrasekhar.
कौन है वो? तिहाड़ में लॉज्ड एक कॉनमैन, आप ही कह रहे हैं कॉनमैन है.
With Gujarat elections round the corner, Kejriwal has claimed all this is nothing but an attempt to divert from the Morbi tragedy.
I would not hitch to say that there is this person called Sukesh Chandrasekhar who is a conman, who was running a syndicate, a crime syndicate from inside the jail, while we have the Aam Aadmi Party and its ministers who are running a crime syndicate outside of the jail. It would not be an exaggeration if I say कि आम आदमी पार्टी is a conman party today.
परसों मोरबी हादसा होता है, कल 24 घंटे सारे टीवी चैनल्स मोरबी का मुद्दा उठाते हैं और आज अचानक टीवी चैनल से मोरबी गायब हो गया और सुकेश चंद्रशेखर के आरोप जो हैं वो आ जाते हैं. तो लगता नहीं कि मोरबी से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए ये एक कंप्लीटली फिक्टिशियस, कंप्लीटली फर्जी स्टोरी एक प्लांट की गई है. मतलब इससे ज़्यादा ब्लेटेंट और क्या हो सकता है कि मोरबी के मुद्दे को दबा के उसको डाइवर्ट करने के लिए, और सक्सेसफुली डाइवर्ट कर दिया उन्होंने. सारे चैनल इस टाइम इस सुकेश चंद्रशेखर की बात कर रहे हैं, जबकि 150 लोग जिनकी मौत हो चुकी है उसका सब भूल चुके हैं.
Between the money laundering case, the massage gate and now this Sukesh salvo, Satyendra Jain is turning into Aam Aadmi Party's Achilles heel, but Kejriwal is clearly defiant, refusing to sack his mantri. With Munish Pandey and Anisha Mathur, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I want to bring in Munish Pandey, who's joining us live with more details on this. Munish, good evening. What exactly is Sukesh's allegation all about here? You've read that entire 2-page letter. Is he saying that since 2017, he's paid the Aam Aadmi Party several times, or was this before 2017?
Well, Akshita, there are 3 main allegations against Satyendra Jain by Sukesh Chandrasekhar, who is accused in a 200 crore extortion case. Now, as far as the letter is concerned, it was written to the LG of Delhi on 7th of October. And the main allegations are, since 2017, he has paid 10 crore rupees to Satyendra Jain. That is number 1. He met Satyendra Jain inside the jail premises. That is number 2. And the number 3 is that money was given as a protection money. And his association with Aam Aadmi Party is since 2015, because he was in touch with Aam Aadmi Party because they had promised some Rajya Sabha seat to him. So these are the main allegations. Now allegations become very serious in nature because remember, Satyendra Jain stands as a Delhi minister to date. His ministry, he's also a minister of Delhi jail. and also he is now an accused in a money laundering case and already lodged inside Tihar jail. So the allegations are very serious. But Akshita, we also need to understand that the allegations are coming from a person who is also accused in the case. In past, he has made several accusations against certain persons. Those accusations, those allegations were found not true by the agencies. At this point of time, there is no investigation being carried out by CBI or ED or any other agency, but still many are saying that it has to be verified whether the allegations by Sukesh Chandrasekhar are true or not, because one person who is going to lose something because of these allegations is Satyendra Jain, not Sukesh Chandrasekhar.
Very true, very, very true. And in fact, with a bag of salt, really, we will take in whatever Sukesh says, considering that he himself is accused in this massive con scandal. But according to Sukesh, at least, he claims that he's brought this up before the CBI. He's given evidence, he's spoken about these allegations against Satyendra Jain and the Aam Aadmi Party to the CBI. He's now taking this up legally as well. But what exactly is the role here of Sukesh? What is the allegation that he's levelled against the Aam Aadmi Party and also against Satyendra Jain? Let's break that down for you. Let's explain for you all of the details that's emerged, the big takeaways from that letter that Sukesh has written to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor. Just a reminder that this letter was actually written on 7th October. Right now, the Lieutenant Governor has forwarded it to the Delhi government for perusal. But you've got Sukesh Chandrasekhar, someone who's accused of a 200 crore con scandal. Now, he has claimed in that letter that he paid off Satyendra Jain, who is currently behind bars, who is in Tihar jail. According to Sukesh, he gave him 10 crore rupees. Every month, a payment of 2 crores was done. All of this as protection money, as he calls it, to ensure that he has a comfortable stay in jail. Besides that, he claims that he gave the Aam Aadmi Party overall 50 crore rupees. Why? Because he said that I was promised a Rajya Sabha seat. I wanted a big political role in the south. So that's why he paid 50 crore rupees to AAP, is what he alleges. Now, there's another aspect of this. According to Sukesh, he's even paid the DG prisons at Tihar jail. Sandeep Goel was given 12.5 crore rupees. Again, this was protection money. Along with Satyendra Jain, Sukesh's contention is that he also paid off the DG prisons because he wanted to be protected while in jail, and this was all given in installments. Obviously, at this point, these are claims versus counterclaims, because the Aam Aadmi Party has completely rejected all of these claims that have been made. Arvind Kejriwal, you heard also in our report earlier, has maintained very clearly that all of this is nothing but a diversionary tactic. I want to take this across now to Mr. A.K. Singh, who is representing Sukesh Chandrasekhar legally currently. He is Sukesh Chandrasekhar's lawyer. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. I'd like to understand first from you, Mr. Singh, what exactly is Sukesh Chandrasekhar's allegations? And also there are questions about why he's spoken out now. Has he raised this before?
Hello, yes.
Mr. Singh, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Singh, my question to you is about why Sukesh has chosen to speak out now. He sent this letter to the Delhi Lieutenant Governor on 7th October. If this has been happening for years now, why did he choose to speak out now?
See, as I understand, Sukesh has already communicated these issues to the CBI, to the ED, to the EOW, and all the investigating agency that he came across. Recently, Sukesh has filed an writ petition in the Delhi High Court also, and thereby seeking direction to the CBI to consolidate all the matter together and to investigate the matter thoroughly. But the matter is still to be decided. In the meantime, Sukesh has also written a letter to the LG so that some order can be come out from the LG office and a fresh investigation is to be initiated. See, my client, finally my client, whatever he wants is an independent and fair investigation is to be done, because a big racket is running inside the jail in connivance with the senior officers and the politicians. Right. So basically my client wants to get investigated these things thoroughly and fairly. Purpose of writing this application is only there is no political connection. There is no motivation from any election and state election, whatever. There is no political motivation behind the writing this letter.
But Mr. Singh, is there any evidence that Sukesh has to accompany these very, very serious charges? I'm sure you will understand the gravity of the allegations here when he talks about Satyendra Jain, when he talks about paying 50 crore rupees to the Aam Aadmi Party. In that letter, I also saw that he said that I'm willing to submit this, all evidence, all proof. What evidence are we talking about?
Definitely, he must have all the evidences. That is why he has raised the claim. And that evidences cannot be shared like that on the TV. Once the investigation will be initiated, he will be called by the police for the recording of their evidences. Definitely, my client will share all the allegations.